Hello and welcome to TTV News with some latest events in the province. Ladies and gentlemen, since promulgation until now, after 10 years of implementation, Resolution number 29, that's November 4, 2013, of the 11th Party Central Committee on Fundamental and Comprehensive Reform of Education and Training, meeting the requirements of industrializations and modernizations in the context of socialist-oriented market economy and international, have made positive changes in the education and training career of the province.
The most obvious thing is that facilities and schools are invested with the total annual budget expenditure for education reaching over 20% of the total local budget expenditure, not only in schools in urban centers, but also those in remote, difficult and disadvantaged areas. They are also invested especially cleanly and beautifully, along with fully equipped equipment for teaching and learning services, basically meeting the needs of 2 classes per day, are expanded in on residential areas. The staff of managers and teachers of all disciplines and levels of study have been consolidated, perfected, meeting the requirements of education and training tasks in the new period, especially meeting the requirements of the 2018 General Education Program. Up to now, the province has more than 10,056 qualified and above standard staff and teachers, accounting for 82.7%. Education and training has been carried out in the direction of attaching importance to developing learners' qualities and capacities. High school graduation results in the province are encouraging. Every year, the high school graduation rate reaches over 95%. High school graduation rate is over 99%. A number of limitations in the implementation of Resolution number 29 were identified, analyzed, and clarified at the conference summarizing 10 years of implementation of the resolution held by the Standing Board of the Provincial Party Committee on July 17, in which the problem of lack of teachers is one of the limitations that are analyzed quite carefully. Speaking at the conference, Mr. Phạm Hùng Thái, Standing Deputy Secretary of the Provincial Party Committee, head of the Provincial National Assembly delegation, emphasized 7 key contents for party committees, agencies, units, and localities to focus on faithfully implement in order to continue to do well the fundamental and comprehensive reform of education and training and to offer solutions to the shortage of teachers. Raising the position of the teaching profession, the tradition of respecting teachers, the meaning of the 100-year career of cultivating people, building the image of an exemplary teacher, carrying a responsibility, a sacred mission in cultivating people to be respected by society will be a beautiful image for students to cherish and choose to participate in the pedagogy, creating a source of teacher recruitment in the future. This is also one of the solutions to overcome the current shortage of teacher recruitment resources. On the occasion of the conference, 10 collectives and 17 individuals with outstanding achievements in 10 years of implementing Resolution number 29 received certificates of merit from the chairman of the Provincial People's Committee.
Along with 95 communes and wards around the country, in the morning of July 17, the Steering Committee for Implementation of the Regulations on Democracy at Level and the Mass Mobilizations of Long Thành Nam Commune, Hoa Thành Thao, have launched intersectoral mass mobilization for the phase in 2023. Mr. Hồ Đức Hải, Vice Chairman of the Vietnam Fatherland Run Committee of the province, attended the event.
The launching had the participation of more than 150 officials, civil servants, and public employees of various departments, social-political organizations, armed forces, youth union members, etc., in which there are 88 soldiers of the 10th Mobile Military Company. The forces will participate in building and repairing houses of great solidarity and gratitude houses for soldiers and people, organizing visits, giving gifts to policy families, poor households, repairing rural roads, cleaning the environment, and other activities. After the inauguration ceremony, the forces participated in planting trees on the road of Gò Dúi, Bến Kéo hamlet with a total length of 200 meters. During 15 days of launching to mass mobilization for the first phase of 2023, the interdisciplinary team coordinated to mobilize the masses in Thanh commune, TayNinhTV City to focus on reaching and clearing drainage ditches. Up road to Thanh Hamlet has a length of 1,500 meters, organizing house checks and gave gifts to 100 tons of people in difficult circumstances, carrying out the work of the Model Flower Road number 12 and number 13 in Thanh Hamlet, visiting giving gifts to historical witnesses, and visiting the 7 Union Steel House on the occasion of the Invalids and Martyrs Day on July 27, etc. In the morning of July 17, simultaneously in the district, towns and city in the province held the launching ceremony to coordinate in the first phase of mass mobilization. In 2023, attending the ceremony at Long Khánh Commune, Bến Cầu district, there were Mr. Trương Nhật Quang, head of the Provincial Committee for Mass Mobilization, head of the Provincial Steering Committee, and Mr. Võ Văn Quý, Deputy Director of TayNinhTV Radio and Television Station. The activities in the first phase of the campaign to do mass mobilization in 2023 focus on propagating for people to well implement the policies, the party's guidelines, the state policies and laws, roads redress, building red riding hood house, giving gifts to policy families in the commune, especially the campaign The Whole Country Joins Hands to Build a New Countryside and a Civilized City, associated with the movement Joining Hands for the Poor, Leaving No One Behind. Right after the inauguration ceremony, officers and soldiers of the 61st Infantry Company, the Commune Military and Order, the Commune Police, and other departments, agencies, and organizations made a road with the people in Long Thanh Hamlet, Long Khánh Commune, Bến Cầu district. According to the Bank for Social Policies, by the end of June 2023, the total outstanding loans operated programs in the province reached more than 3,555 billion Vietnam dong, up more than 3% compared to the beginning of the year. Currently, the province has 114,722 households with outstanding loans, accounting for more than 35% of the total number of households in the province. Average outstanding loans in the district reached more than 395 billion Vietnam dong. The average outstanding debt in the commune reached more than 37 billion Vietnam dong, in which outstanding loans from central capital reached over 3,166 billion Vietnam dong, up 67 billion Vietnam dong compared to the beginning of the year. Outstanding loans from local capital reached over 389 billion Vietnam dong, an increase of more than 61 billion Vietnam dong. Besides the growth of outstanding loans of policy-related programs, debt quality continued to be maintained stable. The total overdue debt and frozen debt in the whole province by the end of June was more than 22 billion Vietnam dong, accounting for 0.63% of the total debt.
Ladies and gentlemen, the days of sunlight are a time to remind each of us, especially the youth union member, toward the rules to be grateful to the heroes and major who have contributed to building the country as it is today. Historical story told from memories. Organized by Trảng Bàng Thảo and TayNinhTV Radio and Television Station Youth Union, recounts a history filled with audience love between army and people through remembrance letter and photographers stand with history.
Telling about the illustrious face, the glorious heroes of a time, at the program, the youth union members were immersed in the stories. The remembrance letters photos marked the affection of the people of Trảng Bàng for the uncool soldiers who crossed Trường Sơn into TayNinhTV battlefield, participating in the liberation of Trảng Bàng on that day. When participating in this program, to be honest, I feel both happy and worried because this is a good and meaningful program, so I'm afraid that I couldn't complete it because this is the first time I have participated in such program. But I think that I'm honest to tell the stories, so I feel a little worried. her. No matter how hard life is in the future, our relationship will never forget. It's true how many ways we are apart from each other, the south and the north. If we know each other, we'll be sister and brother forever. This is a passage from Miss Đỗ Thị Lộc letter from Trang Bang sending to the north to Mr. Lê Đức Hà, veteran of Thái Bình province. The army liberated Trang Bang town in 1976. The words, though simple, rustic, but making each youth union member, when listening to it, see the immensity of the army and people for the way, love more heroic history, peace, and strive to help society and the country. Through the program, I know more clearly our nation's history. I am very grateful to those who have sacrificed for the country. It's more power for me to strive for study. I really hope that programs like this can be organized more and more. In order to further foster the love of the homeland and arouse the gratitude of the younger generations for the previous generations, Trang Bang Town Youth Union will have more projects of historical value. Usually celebrating the Invalids and Martyrs Day, July 27, people often refer to historical figures and heroic pathos. Today, Trang Bang Town turns the Youth Union members to the love between army and people. Expressed through photos and letters, thereby showing the close affection between our armies and people. In the coming time, Trang Bang Town Youth Union will continue to organize many meaningful programs on historical memories for the Youth Union members. Hopefully, the commemorative activities do not stop with the meaning of influence, but partly more the spirit of the youth to strive to build a more and more beautiful country.
The audience, the big events is not only an object to serve, but also a toy with childhood, with memories of many people coming to the professions of making big events in Trường Đông Khám Yếu Hoa Tân Thao. We will understand more about the process of creating cute and colorful big events.
Experiencing a long process from earth knitting, molding, drying, and heating, these piggy banks are waiting for the workers to paint and add a new shirt. In order to have cute and colorful piggy banks, the workers must be skillful and meticulous in each stage. Paint colors not only quickly, but also evenly and beautifully. In the drawing process, the stage of drawing ice, also known as open ice for the piggy bank, is the most important stage. We have to be meticulous and careful when making piggy bank. Our hands must not smear the color, making it worse when drawing. The ink must also be moderated to harmonize, not too dark, not too light. Through many ups and downs, the profession of making piggy banks has not only not grown into a villain, but also is growing. In order to meet the needs of the market, the households of this unique craft making have continuously produced products with increasingly diverse and rich shapes and colors, such as pendants, minions, diamond, etc. However, the traditional piggy bank is still the most produced and consumed one. For nearly 30 years, it not only supplies to an area, but also to other places such as Bình Dương, Tiền Giang, Đồng Tháp, and the neighboring Cambodia. Around November of the lunar calendar every year, this place is much busier when places send orders for the holidays. Popular items are usually the representative animals of the year, the golden and silver piggy banks. The golden ones are also known as the piggy bank of keeping carefully money. Whoever has gone through a dream-filled childhood and when recalling those on days, they will surely remember the days of savings, the dreams of the new year, and the people who created the animals containing those dreams. That's the person who makes the piggy bank, a traditional craft that continues from generation to generations, still very interesting and loved by young people. The tour was very fun and interesting, from how to make a piggy bank. It also helped me understand how to make a piggy bank. The round, colorful piggy banks are still loved by the children, helping them understand thriftiness and cherish traditional crafts. This is the driving force for craft villages to develop and reach further.
That's all for today TTV News. Thank you for being with us and goodbye for now.